we are looking at an article on my Joy Online, which read, "As Africa has resources to finance its citizens' education" by Akufo-Addo. In this article, President Nana Akufo-Addo said Africa has all the resources and capacity to finance access to quality education of its citizens and promote the interests of the continent. And I quote, "We cannot depend on other people to finance the education of our continent. I'm saying that not to turn my back or to be ungrateful to those important or noble people who have committed themselves to help. No. But if we make our policies dependent on other people when their policies changes, we will suffer. But if we make the policy for ourselves, then it means at all times we will be in control of our own destiny." So that's what President Nana is saying. He wants to charter a new course for education across the African continent. I think he's trying to master or start a campaign here. Yeah, try to get other African leaders to think in a certain way. What do people think about it?
Yeah, I think he's basically trying to change the perception of we setting up our policies from to include aid from foreign countries. And you know, the thing is, when we are setting these up, we leave in leeway for them to actually help. But we should set it up for ourselves, like totally, that we'll be able to run the country in the education sector without no help from anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
And I think the point here is this: if we have control of our own destiny, it's better than it being in someone else's hands. Because like he said, what if their policies change? What if our donors' policies change tomorrow? If it changes tomorrow, which means that we would be affected. So what if they come out and they tell us that, okay, if you want to receive any amount of money from us, you need to do A, B, and C. And what if A, B, and C is something that we as a country cannot do, or probably will not feel comfortable doing? And at the end of the day, we end up suffering, and our educational system suffers for it. So why don't we rather put measures in place and then take matters into our own hands?
Okay. That's very true. But he's saying that we have the resources to finance. What are some of these resources? And if we are going to say that we are not going to depend on what has been coming in, then it means we have to be ready to look at other sources of revenue, right? What should be these sources of revenue? What do you think are some of the sources that governments can use to finance education?
Well, because you know, like, for example, Africa has a lot of like resources actually, but the thing is, our problem in Africa might generally be with management, like managing how this fund goes into this goes into this, and other issues like such as corruption and everything. But if we are all aligned to policies that would be beneficial for us, and those in power are able to set it up properly, within years everything will be able to change for us. So there are actually great resources we can lean on, and you know, depending on each country's strength. For example, Ghana has gold, Ghana has oil, Nigeria has an abundance of crude oil in the country. So, but yet we compare to other countries who don't have so much, and it doesn't seem to move at the same pace. That's the question.
You know, someone once said that if you think of any resource in the world, you will likely find some of it in Africa, because Africa is blessed with a lot of natural resources. And I said natural resources, we have human resources as well.
I thank you for stating that, because we state the natural resources so much, and I can boldly say that not so much value is being placed on the life of the common African. Those who are supposed to make the real difference. Yeah.
You see, the problem here is this: a lot of the people don't have any proper education, and the majority of the people are in fields that will probably do some form of unskilled labor. And you see, in our part of the world, we look down on people who don't have any proper form of education. So probably the person has like a middle school education, the person probably never completed primary school or something, and then they go into, say, construction, they are doing anything at all they can get their hands on. You see, we have people there, but the thing is, how many of them are well educated? So if we were able to invest in our education, and we're able to get people to grow to a certain level, to develop to a certain level, then obviously we said, okay, we have an abundance of human resource, and it varies. So we have engineers, you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have teachers. It varies. So in that instance, you know that, okay, you're actually making headway. So your people are actually benefiting from it. And all these resources are at our disposal. We have so many people. But the thing is, we haven't given them the kind of education to make them as productive as we want them to be.
Okay, I have a problem, not really a problem. It's good that Nana Akufo-Addo said that it's very, very good. We have to rely on our own sufficiency and our own resources, whatever the resources may be, being it's natural or human factor. I do believe the human factor. I do believe that we should, when two people come together, it's the same thing as business. You can't do it on your own. Probably yes, Ghana may be receiving help from them, but for right now, we have to survive on our own. But even in Ghana ourselves, we have a whole lot of people with intelligence, we have with great ideas how to go about. Like this Apostle producer with all his inventions, we can actually use that to make greater impacts with other major things that's going on in the country. Now here's my problem. When you say education, does the president mean going back to school, spending all those years, or education in the form of informal ones, or
you see, education in this sense, what I gather from him is that, well, for a certain group of people, it wouldn't be ideal to train them. But those that are currently, like actually the younger ones, primary and senior high school, that's why he came up with the free SHS policy to educate the children, or children, but then people within that age limit of that age group, people who are ready to go into senior high school. And so, which means that his emphasis is basically on the youth. So, giving them proper education to a point whereby they can be self-sustaining. And he doesn't plan on keeping it there, like at senior high school. I'm sure there's a view to expand to tertiary institutions as well. But so this gives you the focus. This gives you the like I said, general focus of where his crux is, and that is starting with the new generation, the generation that's up and coming. Because I would not fault him if he abandons his generation, and probably even our generation. But the thing is, he needs to start from somewhere. So starting with the young ones is probably a good way to go.
I get that, but see, I still have a problem. What is doing is good. We talk about education, but for me, it's just going to land on the same thing. There are still going to be a whole lot of jobs that there are still going to be unemployed youths out there. See, we are considering on education. That's what I was asking. Education. What type of education is he? Is he, or are we talking about here?
You see, the thing is, this is the thing. We're talking about, like you said, unemployed graduates or stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we give people the opportunity to also start their own business, it would be helpful. But the thing is, he's looking at things by sectors. So if he wants to target education, I know that probably governments are not going to just target education. They might target education as well as something else, probably like industries or somewhere, just so that they can be able to create that link. Because right now, the most employers will say that there is a gap. There's this big gap between education or tertiary education and then the corporate world.
Yeah.
And so the thing is,
a huge gap. That is my problem there.
And the thing is, it doesn't have to stop necessarily with education. You see, you need to start from somewhere to go somewhere. If you have a lot of people that are educated, exactly, if you have a lot of people that are educated, and you have a lot more of these people starting businesses, eventually it's going to get to a point whereby a lot of these businesses are going to grow, a lot more people are going to resonate.
I get that too. Okay, let me come from this point.
Okay.
Let's go for the Jewish people. The Jewish world.
Yeah. Jewish
See, they are the ones that are really, they are the billionaires. If we check out, most Jews are really prosperous in a way.
Yeah.
There's a way. Do you know that, for example, this is real, but it really helps what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, on you.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. When the president says he's going to put all his resources into education, what does it mean? We're going to talk about children going to school, learning the same things they've been learning, things that are 30 years old or 10 years old, and they're going to learn the same things again. Go to the same thing again. Go to the same thing again. They come out and then they'll be like,
that's why that's why I'm saying that. The thing is, they want to invest in education, but the problem that you are highlighting comes in the form of the curriculum.
Yeah.
So which means that we need to change the curriculum. If you look closely at it, the current educational curriculum that we are using was modeled off the industrial system, what the educational system we had at the time of the Industrial Revolution, because most people were being trained to become factory hands or to go and work in industries. That is why you go to school, you are given a set of instructions and you're supposed to follow them, because they believe that a lot of the people that are supposed to work in industries are supposed to follow a set of instructions. So if in that instance we believe that, okay, education is the way to go, but then certain changes need to be made, yes, and I know you're referring to the curriculum. So with us funding our own education, yes, that's the right way to go, but then the curriculum is, I think, a conversation for another time.
Yeah, I think one thing Jay should understand is, like with that, always have to start from somewhere. You get it? So if the aim is to get everyone in Africa, every child or all the youth in school, it's a right step in the right direction. You get it? Whilst we move, whilst we progress, we notice that this is not the right kind of education we need. We learn from others who are actually making their education system well, or like it's really beneficial. It keeps going. So by the time it transforms and everyone in high school is in school, well, it's a win, right?
But then, isn't all in the education sector? If you're going to concentrate much on education, don't you, like they say what they say, do it by the first time.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you want to renovate your house, are you going to break the entire house, or are you just going to do it bit by bit, knowing very well that you don't have anywhere else to live apart from that house? You're going to build it, you're going to do your renovations bit by bit.
Yeah.
You won't just break the entire house down, because breaking it down comes at an additional cost.
I think that is.
I'm using that analogy to explain to you that if you want to fix the educational system, or you want to make some significant investments in the educational system, or you want us to fund the educational system by ourselves without the need of having donors coming in to help us fund our education, yes, then you need to start from somewhere. So the first thing is to invest in education. Make sure that a lot more people are educated. If you have a lot more people being educated, then it's easier for you to make changes to the curriculum.
Alright, so a lot more people have to be educated with an old system which does not work, which leaves people unemployed.
The old system, I wouldn't say is broken.
Allow me to step. This is why he's talking about policies, making new policies that are in favor of the Ghanaian or the African community. You see that every country and its needs, every country in Africa has different needs, even though we are all Africans.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to the Western world. So if we are going to follow their policies, the needs that they have there, how does it match with what we have here?
No, not what
So
I'm
if he's saying that we should change our policies, do you see that it's obviously going to affect the curriculum?
Well, not changing our policies per se, but here's it. Every time, this is the stats. Every year, as people can graduate, they are unemployed. If you're going to concentrate on education, you're going to concentrate on getting people to get employed. Now, this is one thing that is also a fact there. Most of the people that come out, they are not let's say they are not entrepreneur mind. They just want to go and work at other places.
You see, that's why I said that. Okay, so education is important, but do you know that if you want people to become entrepreneurs, to have that entrepreneurial mindset, technically you need to have some form of training.
Yeah, in school.
And the thing is this, that's what I'm saying, that it comes down to the curriculum, but you need to first be able to sustain your education. Because if the people that are donating or giving you the money say that, okay, we want you to just focus on this aspect of education, do you have a say? It's their money, so they practically dictate to you where they want their money to go to. But if it's your money, you can identify the flaws in your education and say, okay, this place does not help me, let me make changes here, or this does not help me, let me make changes here. But if you are not self-sufficient, you are not self-reliant, and someone is giving you money and they tell you that, you know what, I know you want to make these changes, don't make them, keep the old system, because that's what the money we are giving you is meant for.
Okay.
You see that at the end of the day, you don't really have a say. So if any other policy, probably they may have change of government or something, and the government may say that, okay, probably we want you to make changes to these areas and then address some of these issues. But probably that government may leave, and then that government will tell you that, the next government will come in and will tell you that, oh, probably we don't want you handling that, go back to the old system. The policies have changed because, and the thing is, because you are subservient to them, you have to follow that line, else you lose.
Yeah, so that's not what the president said anyway. Anyways.
Okay, so viewers, you followed us, and that's what the panelists have said. How is this going to affect you and I, our children, and the future of this great continent? Stay with us, subscribe, like, and ask any questions you have concerning these issues. And join us tomorrow on the next episode as we talk more about the education of our great continent and Ghana. Have a good day and thanks for watching.
I think next week.